That's funny.
Wait. How come?
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Or sweet baby Skinny. What's up?
Oh,
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all right. You know, you got my ginger ale. I'm good.
Got my ginger ale.
My Marvel cup and my ginger ale. We got to get the show on.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Geektastic Cypher here on Free X Agents Media. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, shout outs to you guys for supporting and being our day ones. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, shout outs to y'all for continuing to support and subscribing. Hopefully you've been subscribed.
And shout out to Devin. I know he just told us he couldn't participate live, but he's gonna catch up on it tomorrow. So
shout outs to Devin. We got guests this week.
Yeah.
We got Nikki and Clarence from Breakdown to Lowdown in the studio. And I say studio because I just want to make it sound like we're in the studio because I miss being in the studio.
The metaphoric studio.
Yes, virtual, metaphoric, the space where we collect and join as one. Seeing us on the screen like this, though, genuinely makes me feel like we're doing the Power Rangers inside the Zoid. Like, remember how the screen used to divide?
Yeah.
Oh my god. You're such a nerd. I was gonna say like Hollywood Squares or something.
Nah, we need another row 3 at the bottom.
Yeah, you're right.
This is very much we are in the Zoids and we're fighting some ugly monster that what's her name and Kimberly. Who cares? I don't remember.
Oh, first of all, Zoids. You're messing with
Zoids.
What are you doing?
Why are you bringing up Power Rangers when you don't know anything about it, bro?
Because I don't really care about the Power Rangers. I did that just to bug Skinny. Look at Skinny getting back.
Did not make the landing on that.
10 minutes before, I swear. I'm not going to say nothing.
That's funny.
Skinny's already getting mad.
In the house today.
Yes, Nikki, what's the word? How you been?
Yeah, girl.
And I can't call it. It's a panty. It's a whole panorama.
How's it been for you this past year?
I'm like up and down. Like honestly,
like most of us.
When somebody asks me how I am, I don't even know what to say. I'm like alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get this. How's the music been? You guys do a music podcast. You've been paying attention to all the music in the last year. 2020 was obviously a very interesting year for creators and producers and music aficionados alike because it's kind of just like, how do you create in this space? What was the shift like in 2020? Because you guys saw it. You guys were commenting and discussing it on the weekly. But what was that like then?
Oh, man. I mean, I think even like Clarence could agree with me as well. We had a great year musically. Like creatively, a lot of creatives were very active. I mean, obviously because
they had no choice.
Yeah, you have no choice. You either, because if you're like more of a touring artist, it's like you either release music or you go away quietly and die. So it's like people had to release music, and there was a lot of great stuff. Like I'm not gonna lie, we had so much content. It actually became like almost like too much content. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Because I was like having trouble. Like now, Clarence, I think we're in a drought right now. I don't know if you'd agree, but it's been harder for me to find certain picks. But yes, it'll be in a drought. But there was definitely like a large period of time where I was like, oh my god, like John Legend's dropping, Tiana's dropping, like Anderson .Paak was dropping, like just everyone was dropping.
I was actually going to ask what I know you're more so within the hip hop realm and aren't like R&B? Like what sort of
R&B.
genres? Yeah, R&B. Okay, okay?
R&B.
All right, that makes sense. Do you guys dive into hip hop a lot more?
Clarence?
I don't know if you heard.
I'm not sure if I'm
To be honest,
or I'm not.
Oh, I think his connections.
Oh, we're having some
Can
Teddy
y'all hear
Riley.
me?
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you. I think you're getting it delayed, unfortunately.
Maybe just do audio.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we'll have
try to turn on Yeah. But I was gonna say one of the things for me when I work in music also, I program music for a whole bunch of clients and stuff like that. And I feel like one of the things now is that kind of a lot of people don't see a distinction between what some of the R&B artists and what some of the hip hop artists are doing, at least on some level. Like the boom bap's not the same thing, but when it comes to like
right.
you have the Sway Lee, people are just like, what can you really say that that's hip hop when it's melodic? And I think it still can be hip hop, but I think it bridges into R&B quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of blurring of the lines. There's a lot of that. You'll on our show, like what you hear, we mostly try to pay homage to R&B. We try to like stay kind of like focused on that because it's something that is we find a little bit not as talked about. It's kind of not.
No, you're right.
Yeah, no, disrespected. Let's be honest. And we're like the dopest R&B pod out, and we're showing you that it's still like it's still here. It's still really good too if you look for it. And sometimes you don't really have to even look for it that hard. It's just kind of like stuff that you've been ignoring. And then usually people will be like, "Oh my god, like I'm so happy that like I found this show or like that you guys are showcasing this music because it doesn't get showcased." And we'll do local Montreal artists as well as international. The UK is doing phenomenal things with R&B.
Yes.
One thing that I really find interesting with the UK and Canada in terms of R&B is like really not afraid to experiment with sounds and pushing the genre and the edge of the genre a little further. Whereas the US, I mean, they're cool, they're doing some stuff right now, but it's like I just find it so innovative and interesting what the Brits and the Canadians are doing. I'm
always worried when it comes to the States. One of the things I always worry about in the music industry is when something works, America likes to try and repeat the formula. And we saw that with a lot of pop when we were all younger. And I always worry that when I see R&B and hip hop, I feel like a lot of kids saw Drake pop off. So there was a lot of kids who were like, I need to sound like Drake. A lot of kids saw
100%.
Yeah,
Drake
is the blueprint. Like, I mean, the formula that was working at the time.
And it's sort of that formula has evolved. There's like different kinds of sounds that evolved out of like this whole singing thing that Drake kind of pushed to the forefront. But like if we want to go a little bit further back, 50 Cent and his melodic sort of singing a little bit too kind of started that trend. I'm not giving Jaro credit, but I wanted to ask you, Nikki, your favorite R&B drop this year. What would you say it was?
Oh, Brandy.
Brandy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it because it's been so long? And that's why it was refreshing to hear that she could quote unquote keep up with the time. You know what I mean? There might be a bias in the sense that like people were expecting it for so long.
I dare say when it comes to Brandy, the rest of them are trying to keep up with her because Brandy's voice, I feel like you can't like Brandy has the type of voice that when she steps out, she's just like, I'm only leaving so you guys have a chance to release some music. Because if I kept doing this consistently, y'all wouldn't touch me. That's my
so that you guys have something new to imitate for the next years, because
wow.
It's I mean anybody who knows R&B,
shots fired around here.
Not even just R&B. I mean, ask Coldplay, ask like all of these artists out here who are like, ask Ariana Grande, who take their inspiration and vocal cues and just like layering cues in general from Brandy. Like the way she approaches music is revolutionary. And when I listen to her, I always get new things from like any album that I listen. And yeah, for sure, B7 was exciting because it had been 8 years since her last release. She 211's release, her album 211 was in 2012. So am I missing math? No, that was 8. Yeah, it dropped in 2020, so 8 years. Yes. Yeah. So it had been 8 years since the last release, and it was a long time coming. But the album was so like it was jarring to a lot of people. You know what I mean? There were so many. It wasn't like the first listen and you can sing along to the tracks. You know what I mean? Which a lot of people come to expect from Brandy. You know, something melodic, something that that rings true to R&B, and it wasn't straightforward. It definitely was not a straightforward album. It took me, I mean, I'm a little bit of a fan, so I'm not going to say it took me that long to enjoy it, but I know that for others, it took them a while to get into it. Similar to what people said in 2002 when Full Moon came out. A lot of people were not understanding what was going on this album, and then later on, it was like, oh, Full Moon is like, that's the album.
When I heard Full Moon the first time, I was just like, why do you sound offbeat but still in the pocket? Like, I didn't understand what I was listening to. And then I was getting annoyed, and I realized I was getting annoyed because of me, not because of her. It had nothing to do with her talent or her skills. I was just getting annoyed because I felt like I just didn't understand it. And then when I finally just let it go and just listen to it, I was just like, oh no, this is fire. Like, this is an amazing track. And Brandy's one of those artists that I always think every time I hear her produce a track or every time I hear a track come out from her, I'm just like, well, there goes.
I might have to check this out. I was never a big Brandy fan, to be honest, on the R&B side of things. So I actually didn't even know she dropped an album this year. So I'm going to go back and take a look at it. I think for me, my favorite R&B drop this year, even though it's a bit more mainstream than most, but just because I like his sound, is The Weeknd. I really, really like The Weeknd sound.
The Weeknd had a great album. Yeah,
in my opinion. And then the whole stupid ass controversy about him having plastic surgery to look a certain way. I'm like, why would you even think that was real? And he's that's
the weird part. We live in a world where people believe anything they see on the internet nowadays, and that's so confusing to me.
That's true. That's such a dramatic departure from what you would do with plastic surgery, though, right?
No, right? People, what's that alien believing group from France? The one, Raelians or whatever,
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like you see, so one of the guys from that movement has like one of the most intense plastic surgeries, and that's what it looked like. And I'm like, y'all don't think this is serious, right? Like that guy did it because he wanted to look like, I guess, the welcoming committee for the aliens that were coming through. The Weeknd wasn't about to go destroy his face.
No. Why?
But hey, like we said,
to start a cult? I don't understand.
People are weird. That's why, man. People do weird shit.
Well, no, that was obviously fake. That didn't even make sense. You know, like, I mean, shout out to him for committing to an era. I miss when artists used to commit to eras.
Yes, thank you. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. His music is timeless because it feels nostalgic.
Yeah.
Right. In my opinion,
artists that did eras well. I'm trying to think, like Michael, obviously.
I'd have to give Bruno Mars, as much as I hate to. He did represent a certain era. Yeah. Michael
does era as well. Still, Lady Gaga does era as well.
Oh yes, that's a good example. Lady Gaga is a very. I would say anyone from like the Gaga generation of kids all took from Bowie though. Like they all like Bowie and like Madonna, yeah. Those like you
definitely
have that
Madonna, yeah.
Those kids, I guess. But then, and that goes back to what I was saying before about mimicking the progression of things that work. So we saw Madonna was able to do these phases, and then you had Britney do it, you had Christina do it, you had all these pop kids who came along and would do those same like, oh, I got to switch up every couple years. But in itself, you do need to switch up in music. And if anything, I feel like 2020 was the year where everyone needed to learn to switch up the most. So
100%. Yeah, you had to adapt.
That's one of the things we talk about all the time on the show. Is like if you didn't pivot this year, I don't know what you're doing, because it's like it was a test. It was a true test of like, how are you going to survive? Are you going to sink or swim? And we saw like revolutionary things come out of this from DJ D Nice, finding a way to keep DJing alive, from versus keeping people interested in people,
That's so true.
Like every single celebrity deciding that they can have a show now. So
because everybody can Twitch stream and live stream now, right? So we had a bunch of artists who never gamed in their life became gamers over the past year just to stay in touch with their fans, right?
Oh my god.
I didn't know that part, but
that's very true though.
And then like I have producers like Tim. I was telling these guys the other day, like Timbaland and T-Pain. They're all on Twitch, just live streaming their production process and like talking to fans and just engaging in a different way because they don't have that access now.
Yeah, creating your platform. Quick question: is there anyone you felt that didn't pivot properly? Because everyone pivoted, but was there anyone who slipped and might have fallen on their pivot?
A few people that come to mind, but I just
no. We're gonna keep. Okay, we're gonna.
The ones that want to bury them. She doesn't want to say.
What's that, Skinny?
The one that comes to mind, we don't know everything that happened there, and that's all I'll say.
But,
well, now you gotta say.
This is a podcast. Why are we not saying it?
Canada?
Well, Tori.
Oh, well, that pivot wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, I mean listen, he pivoted all the way off the cliff.
Yo, big facts.
The album was dope, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, Tori is Tori is like watching. What's the name of that basketball player? Zion. It's like watching Zion came on and then his shoe exploded and almost fucked up his whole career. Tori is that guy, except the shoe actually exploded and did fuck up his whole career. Like how you have the most popular streaming Instagram, then making big moves to YouTube, and then you just take all the money, put it in a pile, throw gasoline, and burn it down.
That's interesting. Like we still don't know the key facts from that thing, too, right?
That's why.
No
comment.
Yeah, I don't know. We still don't know what both sides are saying different things. You want to believe somebody, and obviously you want to believe the victim in this case.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see if it did ruin his career, because I don't necessarily think so because of how murky the details are.
No,
I mean,
and I'm gonna tell you,
talking about it in such a
Nikki, don't explain.
creative way. You don't know what you're talking about.
it's not gonna ruin his career because of who his audience is.
Facts, actually, that's true.
There you go.
His audience is how do I say this with being
chauvinistic, misogynistic.
What's the most diplomatic?
Young boys.
So much better than what I was. That is much better. So it's like, yes, it's not the people who listen to Daniel Caesar who were clearly able to cancel him right away.
Right.
Yes.
Tori has an audience who women,
Yeah. Yo, man, that shit's that like I hate that. I like watching that whole situation play out and seeing people try and defend the situation. Don't get me wrong. I agree with what Skinny's saying about how if people want to wait to see, that's one thing. It's another thing to do this kind of whole caping for him and being like,
yeah, exactly.
Like some people who are just like, so what if he did it? It's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? So what if he shot?
Very problematic.
Yes,
if he did it, that's crazy.
But you will find, again, like she said, the audience are very influenceable young men for the most part. I don't know, young boys, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say boys, yeah.
Who want to have that same level of fame, and to them, they're attracted to that lifestyle, right? So they're whatever comes with it, they're down with it. And unfortunately, they as in the artist doesn't want to be responsible for your kids listening to his music, but how else is he making his money? He knows who his audience is. He knows who he's poisoning at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Unless he chooses to completely pivot and switch lanes into a different kind of music, it's not going to happen. And I don't see Tori. Well, he could. That's the thing, though. He could completely switch lanes. Like, no pun intended. He could completely like go off full R&B, and because he can sing, right?
Well, I mean, I would argue he's more R&B than hip hop.
That's what I'm saying.
All his stuff is usually mostly R&B, like Chicks Tapes, all his whole series.
Exactly. So why continue to further, a personality that necessarily isn't getting you anywhere? What's getting you somewhere is what opened you to the mainstream, the R&B, the singing, yeah.
Oh, so you want him to straight up start crooning like
he already is.
I want him to disappear. No, I do. I want him to disappear.
You jump too quick. You need
I'm not jumping too quick. If you're gonna tell me, I don't need to know all the facts to know that. No. I can easily. Do you really want me, Skinny? Have you ever met me? and see me back down from explaining why I very logically, very fair as to why I don't need to see more from Tory Lanez, because I can say it. I don't need more from Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez did what he did. Good for you. If this is the end of your career, by golly, get the fuck out, homie. I'm good.
You never listen to him anyway.
Exactly.
That's.
I listen to Tory. Remember, one of the things I do for my job is listen to music, just to listen to music for the purposes of, can this fit in these spaces, in this store, this restaurant, this, that, the other thing. I'm not listening to all, you know how much music I listen to? I can barely listen to music to enjoy it. I enjoy certain things. I could with Stevie Wonder all day, and that's still wonderful. But I'm not gonna try and cape and make space for Tory in my memory banks. He's not impressing me. Same thing. I was having a conversation with my coworkers today, and I said, "Yo, who wants to start placing bets on the next white boy that's gonna mess up like the cowboy over there in the States, dropping N-bombs and getting canceled?" I was just like, 2 years, Justin Bieber, you're getting out somehow. We gonna figure it out.
No, he's already had his close call. He's already had his like.
Yeah.
But the born again Christian only works if you stay born again. If he done up another time, he's getting out of here, and I'm looking forward to that day because homie, you're your pop star.
Wow.
I like seeing this side of Doc. This brutal attack.
I swear he's on one today.
I'm over these pop stars who get homie. How are we gonna just let these pop stars do everything they want? This kid was, I was a child when I dropped the N-bombs and made jokes about killing niggas. Sure, okay. When you were driving the sports car and almost killed somebody, what's the excuse there? When you were peeing in buckets, when you were causing fights in bars, everything we're saying is he was young. Come on now.
I've caused a bar fight or two, maybe.
Listen.
Yes, did you pee in a bucket because you felt so privileged that you were like, I could do whatever I want? Thank you.
I mean, at that age, if you dared me, I would have peed in a bucket.
Let me tell you. I can actually say it. So this might have been my privilege. I'm in Tremblant. It's like,
oh God! Wait, like, hold on. Are you trying to prove you have a Bieber story? Like, what? That's what I meant.
No, I'm not saying I have a Bieber story, but I can just. Nah, I'm leaving that alone.
Okay, there you
go. Backpedaled so fast. So fast.
He didn't fail. It was just
I could see the silhouette in Skinny's wall. That's how fast he put.
Well, to answer Brian's question, he was saying, do you feel that privileged enough to be able to like feel like you could start a bar fight or whatever? And in this sense, I did because you're in Tremblant, you're one of like two black people. Some guy starts a fight with you, or say you get a little drunk and you start bucking off and you start mouthing off a bit. Me thinking, I'm gonna just pull the card they say we shouldn't play. I might have played it, maybe.
Oh yeah, okay, that's different. If you're playing,
it's actually
how is it not different? You're talking about a white Christian Canadian who was raised by his single mother and then goes off, becomes successful, and starts bucking wild because he just has money, versus you being one of two people of color in a very white space, deciding
doing that and using that to my advantage too.
Yeah, that's not the same.
I mean, I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
I get the point, but yes, I don't know if that's the right sort of correlation that we're looking for.
Yeah, I definitely don't think those two connect. I'm just trying to
he just wanted us to know he's used the car. It was weighing so heavily on you all these years. He just
wanted to tell a story. He just wanted to tell a crazy story.
He's confessional right now.
Forgive me, Father.
Nikki, do you potentially have a Bieber story? Do you want to tell us about one time when you bucked while in a club?
I mean,
no.
Yeah.
I have no Bieber story. I have a
delinquent story.
No.
Yeah, we need to start making a thing too. Your Bieber story. What's a Bieber story?
That guy we were talking about before. I have a story about him.
Oh, for real? Okay, it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I respect that she doesn't say his name too, because I'm like that with some people.
Just because.
Nikki, you don't got to explain.
I'm a little familiar with his people, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I just like try to like avoid that. But yeah, like I mean, back in the day when I had first started out with radio, and he had a particular song sampling a 90s R&B song. He was supposed to come up to the station. Let's just say it wasn't pleasant.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't pleasant. I was a little bit surprised, but then I went and saw another interview that he did on a station in New York, and I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have been surprised."
Oh, and he brings that same energy everywhere he goes. Okay, there we go. I mean, that's fair. Again, if you guys are listening to this and didn't hear the reaction, just watch it on YouTube because I will go on YouTube. That's free X Agents Media. Just go on YouTube and look it up. We right there, or you can go to franklinarmstrong.com and click on it. The YouTube icon's right there on the front page.
You sure can do that. I did want to mention, apologize for Clarence if you guys,
Oh yeah.
He's not able to come in. It keeps lagging whenever he does. So he's like, y'all do y'all thing, and
oh man,
I'll be there in spirit. So I'm representing B12. So
he can watch us live and post comments live on YouTube, and we can include him in the conversation that way.
And also, if anything, if you guys are listening to this right now, just go check out B2L. Just breakdown to lowdown. Go subscribe. Go listen. If you want to hear,
after you listen to this, of course.
Yes, yeah. Listen to them both at the same time. Plug in two head. No, but and that way you'll get to hear Clarence's voice because then that's what you didn't get to hear at this time. But yeah, podcast.
Can I ask you, Brian?
Yeah.
I want to jump to this topic you guys put on here. The Montreal police tells a black man, I think your driver's license is fake.
Yes. This is real. This is
The
Montreal.
wrong black man because he was a lawyer. And I hope he wins.
Any black man would have been wrong. Any black man. I get 100% what you're saying, Dave, but I want to just remind these cops out there, stop fucking with us. Leave us alone. Stop pulling us over for bullshit. Leave us alone. How are you going to pull somebody over?
His name is Brian Joseph.
Brian J. Joseph, Brian Holiday, Jasper Q. Jones, Conrad T. Holden, all them names. You can look them all up. I'm still telling you cops to leave me alone. Stop pulling us over for no reason. How are you going to pull over a man? You're going to pull over somebody with his kid, and then this man is a lawyer, has to tell his kid to start filming, and you're telling him that, we think your driver's license is fake. What the fuck am I supposed to say to that? What do you honestly?
But the thing is, when you read the story, nothing. If the driver's license is fake, still nothing in the story should have happened at that point. It should have been at worst case, sir, you have to get out of the vehicle and you have to give us your keys. We're going to impound your car.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're driving a car that you're hypothetically don't have a license for.
Yeah.
So everything else in the story and based off how it's described, obviously made his daughter start crying and get emotional. Like the whole episode, it doesn't make any sense.
All of it. And then the excuse is like, it's always, well, we're trying to do our jobs. No, you're not.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Nikki. Hit it.
I'm just saying that's not your job description. Actually, it's not to harass, intimidate, make people feel lesser than. I do think that there are professional ways to get the information that you require, and it seems like many times with these officers, it's just like either one training is going out the window or prejudice is coming to the forefront, or both.
Yeah.
But the problem is this, like for example, one part of the story, simple analysis of one part of the story. They started to go through his phone. What on earth does that have to do with any of it? Even if they just said, "Sir, get out of the phone. We're gonna take your wallet," which makes sense. I'm gonna check if you have a license.
But
the wallet to a certain degree, but
you don't have the right to search through my wallet.
Yeah,
it's my property.
That's abuse of power.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can ask for my
I'm saying in the most extreme, like if there was like an extreme proper way to do it, lack of a better term, if people can't see me, I'm doing those asterisks with my fingers there. Like in an extreme case, at most you'd ask for the wallet to look through the wallet. But the concept of like getting out of the car, going through the phone, I believe he was also handcuffed, I think.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Dave.
All that doesn't.
But that's what I'm saying, Dave. Even in the most extreme situation, if you don't have a warrant, you do not get to search the wallet.
Agreed.
So that's like the most extreme is if you guys thought this guy was a terrorist and was about to do something and pop off. You don't need his wallet at that point. You bring in SWAT and start taking people down, which again, you have to have just cause to do. You couldn't just pull him over and say, "Hey, it's a black man with this teenage daughter in this car." There's no framing of this situation in which they get to do any of the things they did. You're right. They were wrong. They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have gone through his phone. They shouldn't have gone through his wallet. They shouldn't have telling him we think your driver's license might be fake. I don't have access to the database. You're the police. You have the database. The same cops that pulled me over when I was living in the suburbs and are telling me the car is registered to my dad and giving me all the information about who the car is registered to. Yes, you guys are using that system. I know you have access to it. So why are you pulling people over and telling them the driver's license is fake? And what am I supposed to say to that?
How do I pull out my phone and play the Price is Right fail noise?
Right, like what
for me,
your driver's license.
I hope he takes him to town, man. Like I have to say it. I hope he takes. I hope whatever this lawsuit. I hope he takes him to town, and I hope it drives him. I hope more importantly that there's a message that's sent through because of it.
Yeah,
but I do also hope that he earns from this because it's just too insulting, and it's like it literally results because it doesn't even matter. Like, don't get me wrong, it super matters that it was a black person and was racially profiled. That's super important. Yeah. But especially if we were to remove that element,
it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't black.
If he wasn't, but like, let's even say that it was a white guy.
No,
I'm not going to say go there, but I'm saying the actions of what's happening.
You're giving doesn't even fit if it's a white guy because they don't do that to white guys. That's what I'm saying.
But that's why this has to win. It has to send a message. Is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying. The description is this: like this happened and it shouldn't happen to anyone. Period. Is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the problem with police officers in general, obviously, again, it's even worse with when it's racial profiling. I find any story I hear lately with anybody. You guys are not using common sense whatsoever.
Oh, okay. Yes, I agree with you. All cops are crooked right now. Bong. I will agree with that statement because that's essentially what you're saying. Yeah. Every interaction we hear about, whether it's black, white, brown, purple, green, doesn't matter. The cops are acting the fool. And I understand the lady who had the paper to be an essential worker who was white and had a lunchbox, and the cops pulled her over and forced her to show them what was in her lunchbox.
Like, you know what I mean?
I understand what you're talking about. I get it.
Like, there needs to be a message thrown home to our because like I'll be honest, like I support in the concept of police in the sense that I do think like the job is required. But just because the job is required doesn't mean you guys get to play Sheriff of Nottingham and do whatever the fuck you fucking want.
That's man, that was a 3 from deep. They are playing that that's one of the most perfect examples of how the cops act. They all think that the sheriff's of Nottingham Forest, that they run shit and that they can do whatever they want. And then I was having a conversation with Deku, Basic Bullshit Podcast. And he was talking about how he's been trying to explain to one of his friends, there are no good cops if there are cops like this around and other cops aren't speaking up to stop them.
Well, yeah.
And one of his friends was just like, well, no, there's good cops. But at the end of the day, I understand what Deku's saying. The fact that there aren't other cops speaking up to say, this officer that works in the same line and in the same city as me, going around and pulling people over. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying jump off the minute you hear the story. Do your due diligence as a police officer, look into it. Yeah. But if you realize that there's no warrant, there's no just cause for going through the person's phone, no just cause for going through the person's wallet, no reason to have handcuffed him. Like Dave said, they should have taken the keys and impounded the car if they really thought that this stuff was fake. They should have just done that procedure. If you're a cop and you look into it and there's no recourse for the way they acted, I would love these cops to speak up because that's the only way you can get us to start feeling like there are good cops in the system. And again, that's Brian Holiday. If no one else wants to sit on that ledge with me, I'll sit on it alone, and I'm more than happy to because that's just the situation we have right now.
Speaking of cops, where the hell did those cops go in WandaVision? No, I know y'all thinking it.
He's like, I want to talk about some geek shit. God damn it!
That's fair. Before we get to that, though, we got to do a quick message. Nikki, I know you're supposed to bounce. So, did you want to tell people where they can follow all your stuff? They can check out all your stuff, how they can stay connected, because you got more than B2L. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So please hit the people with how they can check it all out.
Oh yeah. There's a whole lot of stuff, and I got a whole lot of opinions. You know what I mean? That I feel like we couldn't get into everything right now because
Yeah.
When my time is set up, it's crazy. Yeah, but you can definitely keep up with Breakdown to Lowdown anywhere podcasts are found. We're at Breakdown to Lowdown on Instagram, at @real_B2L on Twitter. That's with the number 2, not the word 2. You can follow me personally at Nikki Music, at NICKYMUSIQUE. The music is spelled in French, and it'll link you to everything else I do: my radio show, IGTV show, podcast, all that good stuff.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming through. This was great.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, anytime. Guys, please make sure. Also, you have a series on YouTube that's featured on the same channel.
Oh, yes.
Do you want to tell people about it? Yes.
Agree to also with the number 2 because we just love that. It's so great.
What would be like the 30-second synopsis? Me,
my lovely co-host Kay, disagree on 99% of everything. I'm an Aquarian. It's a great sign. My birthday.
Me too.
Lit. See, I knew it was some. And she's a Scorpio, so you know what I mean. Love her to death, but it just gets spicy. So I would recommend that you go check that out. It's fun.
Dope.
Thank you so much, Nikki, for coming through. We definitely appreciate it. We'll be talking to you soon. We'll have you back sometime soon. Hopefully, we can get clearance to come back through again sometime soon.
Lovely. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Of course. Peace. Take care. Guys, don't go anywhere. We have a quick message for the Morning Detour. Is going to be hosting an event on... Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to let them say it in the message. Check this out. Valentine's Day special speed dating event. Check it out.
Yeah. Yes, everybody. It's Weezy Moonchaser here from the Morning Detour.
And it's Lorena.
Let me tell you guys something. I'm so excited for February. It's all about love, baby. On February 13th, we're doing our first Morning Detour speed dating event. We have guest speakers, we have giveaways, but we also have speed dating. Lorena, how's this going to work?
Well, it is going to work. It's all virtually, so you're not going to be like in a big room how it normally is, set up at a table, go through the line of people. This is happening virtually. So at the event, our host, Weezy Moonchaser, will direct you to the networking tab. It will only be open after all of our speakers have gone through their presentations. So what you do is you hit the tab, and once you're in that tab, you'll click ready once you're ready with your mic and your camera, and then the system will go ahead and connect you to the person. So once you're in that room with the person, you have 3 minutes to talk to them. If you like the vibe, you're vibing with the person, you click the connect button. Once you click the connect button at the end of the event, if that person also clicked connect, you will, the system will share you guys' information. So then you guys can take it outside of the event and continue on if you like. If for whatever reason you're in the virtual space with a person and it's not going well, you can click leave if you want, and then the system will look for somebody else to match you with for another 3 minutes. And so this will go on for a period of 30 minutes.
Whoa, it's looking so different. This has never been done before, Montreal. It's the Morning Detour. You know how we do things. And we also have some very, very exclusive giveaways as well. If you're looking for love, if you're looking for partnership, if you're looking for friendship, I urge you guys, join us on the Speed Dating Morning Detour, February 13th. Listen, everybody's love story is different. Yours could start with us on February 13th.
It's going to be fun.
Shout out
to Weezy, man.
Weezy always has the energy.
Where does he get those lines?
Yo, it's been a year and a half of being in a pandemic, and homeboy's just like, I have the same energy I had day 1, and I'll have the same energy day 700. Like, it doesn't matter. He'll come correct every time.
How does he freestyle those lines? Everybody's love story starts different. Yours can start today. Like, what?
I know, right? Yo,
seriously.
Shout out to Weezy. Morning Detour. You guys can check them out on CKUT 90.3 or on the TuneIn app under CKUT on Fridays at 7 a.m. Guys, so we're supposed to jump into it. We're supposed to discuss it. It's a crazy show. The slow burn was there. I know people were feeling it. I was one of the people who was too anxious and couldn't deal with the slow burn. But this,
I couldn't believe that.
That was great.
But you know what it was for me? Well, first of all, folks, we're talking about WandaVision. And for me, I'll explain why. I like the show, and I love the throwbacks. Don't get me wrong. Everything they did, the build up was great. I'm one of the people, though, that I want to see the other side of the two-way glass. Like, it's cool that you guys are doing the like those shots of black and white and Bewitched and I Love Lucy, and that's cool. It was fun, but I like seeing the other side. I kind of wouldn't have minded seeing that spliced in between. But don't get me wrong, doing it this way also a great payoff, because that fourth episode, like the first 3 episodes was like watching a team set up, and the fourth episode was watching the dunk from the 3-point line. Like you're just like, shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
I
was
good.
wrong.
I'm glad you do. You were horribly wrong from day one.
You're horribly wrong.
But yeah, if they filmed it that way right off the bat, it's almost like we're going back into something we're used to, which is getting all the answers right from the beginning, right?
Fair.
So yeah. But then that fourth episode, every scene was like, So now you know it's about to go down. Like, it's just, it's awesome.
The opening when she comes back from the blip,
right?
Homie.
That was so well done. And everyone's coming back from the blip. So now they've immediately, boom, tied her into the universe. Like, it's done. Yeah. Now we all know at what point this is, and they take us in that way. Before we get into the story, though, I wanted to ask you guys, do you think, because we saw the trailer for episode 5, okay? Where it looks, I don't know if you have.
I haven't watched it, but
I avoided it.
Come on, guys. It's just a trailer. Yeah, and most of the time, Marvel will lead you astray anyway, in some way. Anyway, I'm going to tell you what's in the trailer. You can choose to mute me or not if you want. But in one of the scenes, Vision you see him in front of the barrier. And he's kind of like poking at it. And at one point, it looks like he goes right through. But he still looks like himself when he goes through. Now, do you think, because we also learned in episode 4 that she's pretty much weekend at burning Vision right now.
Well, okay,
like, playing the puppet.
Is that your opinion? Because
that's my opinion.
I think she created him.
Here's why I don't think she created him, because he appeared in his true form in front of her.
First of all, I think that's potentially her losing control of her powers. So she changed him to what the last thing that made him freak out. That's what I'm pretty sure.
No,
I'm also, with it. I agree with Dave.
Technically, I think that if she, at bare minimum, in their universe, since he was already functional, I think that potentially before they got into that universe, she may have fixed him somehow.
No.
And erased his memory.
No.
The thing is, how are you going to get... Great Vision is going to continue in the series. I'm telling you right now, Great Vision is going to... He's not going to die out of this. I think he's going to be in the movie.
That's what I was saying. So when he goes through, you don't see him change colors. And like in the comic books, we all know that Great Vision is a thing. Yeah. Right? So I think this might be the sort of intro to Great Vision. And if he survives past the barrier, then everything she's invented and made up in that barrier exists. Wiccan, Speed...
that's what I was saying. That's why I think the fact that she was able to create 2 children is, and remember, I would think it's easier for her to create a robotic matter than it would be for her to create sentient life from scratch. You know what I mean? Like, to create bodies that grow into human beings compared to a robot that already exists and you're just snapping him back. That seems easier to me. Like, so that's why I think it's quite possible that if she could create these 2 kids out of whatever matter her powers can control, I'm not against the idea of her bringing him back. Like, I know a lot of people are saying the puppet thing. Sorry, Skinny, hit us.
I say it's a bit of both of y'all. Meaning it is not so much, and Tobi says she didn't really bring him back, but I agree with what Dave's saying and what you're saying. It is Vision but at this point, he's just like maybe doesn't have a personality, so he will be like the way he was at like a la Grey Vision. So he'll be back. She would have brought him back to the point of he can be automated and so on, but he's just like dead ass.
Yeah,
what's going on, Wanda? Like that's probably one of the few things you can say because
I think she fixed him in the sense that she fixed the robot shell, but because she didn't have the stone or anything, he's not able to have a personality, a la what Skinny was saying, and him being in the universe gives him the color, so to speak. So whenever he's going to leave, he's just going to be a robot.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Interesting theories. I think this is WandaVision is literally a portal to everything.
Yes, because there hasn't been
The
anything
only portal.
Yeah, and that's the reason that I'm concerned about how much weight they're going to have to put on WandaVision because they didn't get to do other stuff.
Oh
because
my
I
God,
feel like
so much.
Yeah,
because she's gonna be involved in probably the next 2 to 3, right? Because it's WandaVision and Doctor Strange, which is before Spider-Man, right?
No, after.
Is it?
Oh, is it after?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me look at this phase 4 chronologically here.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna be in Spider-Man anyways.
Yeah.
No matter,
It's WandaVision, Spider-Man this summer, then Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Okay. So either way, whatever happens here will be obviously affecting the Spider-Verse because we know that universes are going to start colliding, and then same thing in Doctor Strange, and then
my nigga, she gonna freak out by the end of this. She's either gonna keep her kids or they're gonna be gone for the moment, and whoever's doing this to her is gonna be like, "Yo, sorry, their souls are a part of me. They're gone now."
Well, do you guys think it's the Mephisto thing again?
Yeah.
10% is Mephisto. Yes.
So I also rewatched the trailer for Loki again recently, and in the background of one of the scenes with Owen Wilson, and I forget who else was in the scene with him. They're in a church, and there's not a mural. Those
glass
stained glass, and it's a devil, and it looks exactly like Mephisto.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely think Mephisto is going to be introduced, and I'm hoping that, like we said, we know that the Spider-Man storyline, Mephisto's the one that does One New Day, right? I think it's called. Is that
the one where he needs to be able to forget about Mary Jane and everything?
After Civil War in the comic books, because he needs his memories. He needs everyone to forget who he is. Well, Dave, I'll let you go because you've been wanting to say something. Hit us.
Well, because now I'm just wondering. Well, 2 things. First of all, in regards to WandaVision, especially what we've seen as of right now, it definitely seems like they're trying to test the ground of potentially maybe doing House of M one day. I'm not saying they're going to do that anytime soon, but it feels like this is like them saying, yes, it's a thing. If we ever make Wanda the bad guy in a movie, obviously it's going to be House of M.
I think you need to let that dream go.
No, I never will. It's one of the best storylines ever.
I'll help you. There will be elements of it in the way that I mentioned it in the chat the other day.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Wiccan and Speed are more than likely our intro to mutants.
Yeah.
They're going to start introducing the concept of a mutant in WandaVision. And remember, X-Men isn't a thing till phase 5, by the way.
I know, but I'm worried about that. I don't want them to introduce Wiccan. Well, everyone keeps, there's a whole bunch of theories about how Magneto's going to show up at some point. I don't want that to happen. I
don't want that either.
You won't see Magneto, but you won't see Magneto.
I don't want Magneto at all.
But why exactly? Hold on, guys. Why do we want or need Magneto in this at all?
Because if you're telling the story, that's kind of which way you would have to end it. That would. Sorry, wait, not in WandaVision. I'm talking about Doctor Strange.
Sure.
Okay.
But I'm saying you don't want them. Think about it this way. Would you want them to shoot the 3-pointer on this?
No.
WandaVision? Don't use Magneto on this show.
No,
as powerful as he is, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that we get something completely different because that's why I don't want Speedy or Wiccan to be mutants. I don't want mutants introduced in a side TV series. Now, don't get me wrong. WandaVision, hella important. But introducing mutants through this TV show when the movies has been where you introduce all the other major things seems like an unfair movement, an unfair decision for the mutants.
You won't
always give the Shaft mutants.
Yeah, you won't introduce the mutants but you'll introduce them having powers just through their mom, and then they'll revisit, and then that's that. I mean, I don't know what they'll do.
I'm down for. My thing is, if they can go back and retcon, which I mean, they haven't done it in the movies yet, but I'm down for them to do their first retcon. That Age of Ultron, we find out that Pietro and Wanda are actually mutants. They had the gene, and that's why the experiments worked on them.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah.
Retconning anything.
That's exactly that could be done easily.
I feel like
I wouldn't say that's a retcon.
You're just looking for a logical explanation.
Yeah, but that is retcon. It's retroactive continuity. They weren't mutants. They've never been called mutants. They didn't explain that it's a mutant gene that caused it. They said the stone gave them powers. But if you say the stone only gave them powers because they had the gene,
right.
I'm down for that exploration. Sorry, Skinny.
There was a secret kept from you.
Exactly.
But I feel like they already confirmed that in some sort of like really deep diving like Marvel cinematic book. They actually said that Pietro and Wanda already had the powers, but the what's it called just kind of,
we'd have to find that because I didn't know, because that's the thing.
That, but it doesn't say mutant gene because at the time they didn't have mutant gene, but they did say that they had powers before when the stone just unlocked.
And the stone, okay, I'm down. If that's something they've been hinting at, I'm down. It's just that's one of the things that kind of sucks about some of the same thing with Star Wars. Some of the elements they add to the mythology of these universes is in these books or in these side things, and it's like you're supposed to know because you're a big fan and you went through everything. But the casual fan's not going to know that, and that's not really fair to the casual fan when it comes to introducing mutants to the universe. To say like, oh well, if you read this one-off prequel book that was released about before the Age of Ultron, where they explain, what's his name, the circus, how he before his arm got cut off, how he was stealing from Wakanda, and they tell his story somewhere, then that's different.
Oh, you know what? What makes sense to me now, and why I think they couldn't use mutants at the time was because Fox still owned the rights.
Yes, exactly.
So they couldn't use. But if you remember, there was a scene where Strucker was like, "These are my miracles." He called them. It almost seemed like he was going to say something else. So I don't know.
Yeah, they played with that.
I don't know. I think it's already here.
If they want to officially make that the word was mutants that he just didn't say because of licensing, cool.
No,
bring it in.
Skinny is right. Here, hold on. Let me pull this up here. It says, and I remember this now, a memo was written by Strucker himself that says the Maximovs were chosen as test subjects due to the fact that they had the appropriate genetic markers that make them conducive for human trial volunteers.
I'm 100%.
That is the most unique way to call someone a mutant.
Right? That's what I'm saying. And this was in the movie. I remember this now.
Perfect.
That's crazy.
So let's do that. I'm 100% down behind that. Let's do that. Let's put that into play, bring it in, and then introduce more mutants. There you go.
You know what's funny? That like how much foresight does Marvel have that they wrote that in such a way that they knew like one day we'll have it.
Come
so
on,
we're just gonna say this
anywhere. He'll be like, "What book are we writing?" Okay, let's there.
Yeah, things Feige has probably planted in the movies that
I want to pay off. I want to see his room with the red rope going from this to that.
Yeah. I would love to see that. I think I would cry.
Him just all these threads, and everyone's just like, "What are you doing?" It's just like, "I told you, these things in the subway were connected to that avalanche." And you're like, "What are you talking about?"
Room, and it's literally just like a web.
Yeah.
Feige might have Sherlock Holmes level detective skills here. That's great.
So far,
okay. Bold prediction though. Do you guys think that the next Avengers, like when they assemble movie, that the bad guy is going to be Mephisto? No. I don't think it's going to be.
God, I hope not.
No. I don't think we're going to get that.
You're never going to kill the devil. You're
not going to kill the devil, but do you fight the devil?
Strange is going to like submiss him in that movie, and they're going to just wrap that up, whatever. And then,
they'll just saying. Because they don't have a lot of more options of big bads at this current point that fit in without mutants.
The nigga Kang. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the fact they're introducing Kang.
What do you mean, the nigga Kang, bro?
Yeah, I also don't think like you want a quick early reveal of a villain like that.
Yeah.
Well, because they're not revealing him yet, right? If they keep him only in the background.
He has to stay in the background. The reason why he has so many ties in, Mephisto ties into Spider-Man. He has a storyline with Doctor Strange at one point in the comic books, to the Fantastic Four.
Exactly. So why not with all these movies and people that you're doing and the stories that you're doing that they all get touched by it and then they assemble in an Avengers movie to fight him?
Wait. No, let me break it down. Dave, you have the DC mentality. Why do you have to fight him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He could just be a mastermind in the background.
Anything else to fight after that? By fighting Mephisto, you're gonna what?
Okay, well, when I say fight, I mean I don't necessarily. It could be fight physically, like that if you want, but like I could also. I'm saying fight that he will be whether he's fighting or being the mastermind. I feel like he's gonna be the ultimate bad guy, and they're going to defeat him whether they're defeating him or his pawns.
So they will. I think it'll get to a point where they do. He comes out of the shadows, but I think he's going to be in the background controlling things for a while. And here's why I don't think he's the main big baddie here. Yeah. Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Like this whole universe exploding and colliding thing is all leading to Secret Wars.
I hope so. That'd be dope.
It is. No, well, they announced Secret Wars. So 100% this is where this is all going.
Oh shit, they did announce it.
Well, when did they announce Secret Wars?
Well, Secret Invasion they announced.
Yeah.
But this is
very different things.
Yeah, it's true. They announced Invasion.
Invasion? Okay. I do remember Secret Wars.
I see elements of Secret Wars. I know they have Armor Wars.
Russo says they wanted to come back for Secret Wars. So listen.
A few things from the episode.
Why are you bringing all the Spider-Man back? Why are you bringing all the, you know what I mean? Like, come on, all the villains from different universes. It's Secret Wars.
The Spider-Man is easy, so they can flip that and flip it into the Spider-Verse too.
Also, Spider-Man is such a popular character that they'll just use him to introduce anything. That's
true.
Yeah, Spider-Man's their catch-all. They're just like he's the most valuable. Like, remember what they said with Spider-Man included in a deal, the value of Marvel goes up $4 billion or some crazy number. Like, Sony will never give it up because it's so valuable to keep it away from Marvel that they're just like, we have to keep making movies with them.
Any character that kids identify with that strongly, man.
Yeah,
100%.
Because everybody wins as long as they just don't try to do anything. Like, shut up. Pay for my marketing and just let me take control, and Spider-Man will be fine. The minute you touch it, no.
Back to Mephisto for a second. Tell me, am I tripping though?
No, go back.
All right, hold on. I don't know if.
Make sure you close the porn.
Your fucking face.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
In a church, like why?
Here. Okay, let me just take a quick little run up the court.
Remember, guys, we're talking about the in the trailer, the scene, the
Loki trailer.
Loki trailer with the stained glass window is what we're looking at on the screen for those who are listening and not watching.
WandaVision is gonna end most likely with her snapping and shit getting way out of hand. I don't know if Loki's starting soon after that or whatever, but Loki's gonna be here.
No,
Loki's this year. Okay, so Loki's story will be like
in spring.
Yeah. Fine. Hey, Loki, you're not supposed to be here. So we're going to send you on suicide-ass missions to get some sort of things that we need throughout time so that we can maybe stop whatever the fuck Wanda's doing to the time loop. And then
possibly.
Someone said that. Someone was saying that when you look at Marvel right now, you're going to have Doctor Strange working with the multiverse, and you're going to have attacking the multiverse, and then you're going to have, whatchamacallit, Wanda affecting reality, and everyone else is going to be like, well, we got to do something to stop these guys. Whether or not one of them thinks they're doing it for the right reasons, it's problematic in the end. More Doctor Strange, but
that's crazy. And then what? Loki's affecting time? Wow.
Loki running around in time, Wanda changing the reality, and Doctor Strange touching into the multiverse. Marvel's going into a lot of directions right now. They're going to be
crazy. Like even with Thor: Love and Thunder, that almost feels like an alternate.
He was wearing the Thunderstrike suit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. I'm looking forward to what they're doing next.
These guys.
I think it's the first Iron Man end credit scene, the deleted scene. Fury says mutants.
Are you ready? Can I play this without us getting
in a deleted scene? Unfortunately, this is something that they've already touched on. Deleted scenes aren't canon.
Correct.
So as much
But it
as
shows you, they
Yeah,
thought
shows
they would have been able
Yeah.
to. So
that's fair. Yeah. That's planned. I acknowledge that. It's just because I love some of the stuff that they've done, but in the deleted scenes and all that stuff. But it's like when you find out that you can't count that, I'm always like, that sucks. You should have left it in. You could have dealt with the lawsuit from Fox. You would have won.
I was gonna say if you wanted to play the clip, but it's fine.
What are some of the other shows that we had down here?
Someone last week or 2 weeks ago wanted us to talk about Fate, the Winx.
Oh yeah,
Saga.
I finished it.
I flipped when I saw Winx had a live action show. That cartoon was like,
I've watched some of the cartoon and then watched this, and I gotta say,
which is better?
I think the thing I didn't like is the fact that Netflix cancels Sabrina, and this just feels like they're like, oh hey, we canceled Sabrina, so we need another magic show with girls, and then like it's like I feel like they could like okay. So here's my thing: when I watch stuff like this on Netflix, it sometimes makes me think of like, man, if Netflix was a network, like this would have been the perfect lineup together. Winx and Sabrina on your Friday night or whatever, like back to back, would have been a perfect lineup. So when I hear them canceling stuff, it's just like this is a weird decision, but it's like, okay, fine, you canceled it, move on. Sabrina's gone, fine. You took the girl Abigail Cohen from Sabrina, brought her over to this show. That's one of the reasons that she left Sabrina. She's on this show now. She plays the main character. And then it's more of that kind of people who make bad decisions. That's the thing that drives me crazy about some of these CW shows. Every decision just seems like...
I like that you called it a CW show.
Essentially it is.
Yeah.
Dude, watching this was like watching a CW show where they were allowed to swear. Because every time they dropped an F-bomb or something, I was just like...
They took mad liberties with that.
Yo, I know. Like, really went with it. And I was just like, this is like... It's like someone said, hey, you know how we have Titans? Yeah. So you see how Titans is like all the other CW shows, but they say fuck? We're going to do that with
Let's not disrespect Titans that much.
No. That's what it is. Titans is so much better because Titans feels like it's set in a more realistic world where when you get into a fight and you start swearing, you're like, yeah, this is some real shit. We're about to pop off. Whereas you watch the other CW shows and this guy's getting shot in the shoulder and he's like, darn it. It's like, homie.
darn it.
Like, that's tough percent, you
know?
That's
well, can we talk about
one sec. What I really liked about this show though is the fact that it does feel, even though it's like this weird fantastical fairyland, they bring up Tinkerbell to kind of tie her into our reality a bit.
So fun.
I did like their take on it. Like, if you were going to sell me a show about fairies, this might have been the only way to do it. By including some dark, evil, like alien type villain.
The burnt one.
Right? The burnt ones.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It was
the only thing I didn't like was that crazy Sailor Moon scene. where she gets her wings and it literally was a Sailor Moon transition scene.
Oh my god, yeah. It was so ridiculous.
Lady Sailor Moon. Wait, okay, hold on. But Winx isn't Disney, so how did they get Tinkerbell?
No, they're just because Tinkerbell. Well, technically, Tinkerbell is not Disney. Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. It's
independent IP.
Yeah.
So they got this like bum ass looking Tinkerbell who's all like rugged and shit.
No. Tinkerbell is not on the show. They just referenced her when she said, haha, like the girl was like, haha, like I bet you Tinkerbell was real. And she's like, well, actually, she was, and she was a fire fairy or whatever she said she was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I'd recommend the watch. It's a fun watch. It was kind of,
Again, if you like CW, you want something slightly better than CW shows, this is a slightly better CW show.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad saying it's not an insult. I know we shit on the CW quite often here, but you know, for example, I mean, yeah, you can say me. I feel like Tobi both.
Yes, 100%. Okay, which is why I said don't disrespect Titans, because I know CWs.
I mean, the CW series are what they are, and that's okay. And then this show is if someone could make CW with a little bit of little edge to it, and that's fine too. And it's worth the watch.
Hold on, wait. Was CW owned by Viacom? CBS?
Yes. CW is a CBS offshoot.
Okay, so this shit was actually pitched in like 2011 as a live action Winx Club. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, again, this team, is it Berlanti that's the producer on this one too?
Let's see.
If Berlanti is the producer on this Winx show, then we definitely know this is like CW.
No, I don't see him here.
Brian Young and producers John Finn. No,
trust me, you would have seen his name first. So you're good.
Again, my issue is not with Greg Berlanti. My issue is with an industry that finds one person who's doing well and then gives that person all the money to do every show. Same way Chuck Lorre on CBS. The same thing with what's his name, Lorne Michaels. I don't like when they do that. Because some people get in my DMs about like, yo, what's your hate for Berlanti? I'm like, it's not Berlanti, it's the system I don't like. So
right.
I don't know about you guys, but I watched The Little Things.
What are The Little Things?
Yo, that show, dog. Hey,
it's a movie with Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, and Rami Malek.
No, different movie. Sorry, different thing. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Skinny was so excited for 2
Rami
seconds.
Malek. Sorry, Rami Malek. Apologies. That's how you say his name. I watched the movie. I can't give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's very much a thumb in the middle. Like, the acting is so good. Of course, when you get these guys on the screen, you're just gonna like. I hate Leto sometimes because he's so good at transforming into characters, but also at the end of the movie, I was so unsatisfied with the ending. I was just like, "Oh, okay." Like all that acting, and then you get to the end, and you're just like, "Fine." Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Well,
He was my partner this whole time, like that type of thing.
Who are we following here?
I'm saying that like because I know Denzel Washington's a cop in it. Is it like, oh, is it just my partner that ended up being the serial killer type thing?
Well, now you're
because you're literally asking for the end.
I'm curious. I just wanted to see your reaction. I would have not. You could have said you could have let me know through action.
Is this the end of the movie?
That's funny.
Is this exactly what happened? Like, no, David.
We have a private chat.
No, like, I got to the end and I thought, oh, this could have ended better. That's all. So, it's like, that's the thing. Again, and I've used the analogy for basketball a lot in this episode. It's only because I have my Raptors cap in front of me. I keep seeing the basketball on it. So I keep thinking of basketball. But, it's like watching like you have an all-star team and then they get to the end of the game and they didn't put up the points, like
they couldn't close. They couldn't close.
No, yeah, they couldn't close. It's just like you have some of the best players in the game,
but none of them are clutch.
Yeah, you're losing to the Washington Generals, and you're the Harlem Globetrotters. It's like, what's happening here? So
that's jokes.
Yeah, so
it's funny that last week I said the same thing, the opposite thing about Outside the Wire, which is like it ended so well that it could have just started so much better.
Yes, it really is a flip. Because this one, it was like I started the movie and I was just like, okay. And then it's a little slow to begin, but that's fine. And then you get through the movie and you're just like, okay, this is getting interesting. And then midway, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I think I do, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. And then I get to the end and I'm just like, okay, you guys told me the ending at the beginning of this movie? And okay. And then that's it. So, yeah. It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a look out though tonight. The Bachelor.
I just want to hear Skinny tell us why it's like 5 thumbs down, because the fact that you put on the
I put
to begin with.
I put the 5 thumbs down.
Put thumbs down on someone else's thing.
I am Skinny. Why are you watching The Bachelor? Why are you
we have an outline when we do the show every week, and we sometimes put a thumbs up or thumbs down and to like indicate what we're going to discuss. And Toby put thumbs down next to Skinny's show.
So I've recently, just for the first time ever, during the pandemic, given the Bachelorette a chance.
Okay.
I can't believe.
I mean,
watching that for?
What are you watching this for? That's
I love that. There's hate for the Bachelorette, but he's like, I'm sure I'm watching Bachelor. Like, come on, 25 seasons long.
They're both the same. Sorry, but go ahead, Skinny.
Yes,
I digress.
yes, but no. Men can't. Okay, sorry. No, actually, no, I'm not sorry because I'm not doing that in 21. All right, men can't really wild out on national television as much as women have the kind of almost, but maybe slide like privilege of really, which is what I witnessed. Well, I'm back to back actually watching a season of The Bachelorette, Danny's pick, while also watching the most recent season of The Bachelor. The only reason why I'm watching the most recent season of The Bachelor is the first black dude.
Yeah.
So, okay. But they got the most cookie cutter nigga I've ever seen. The name is Matt James. They get you the sad story of, yes, we understand there are fathers out there that are still absent, but you had to pick this nigga who's gonna be like, I don't know who my father is, and I wasn't raised by my dad, perpetuating that whole thing about black men leaving their sons, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
so,
man.
No,
they made it a stereotype?
Well, what?
So they made it like a stereotype?
No, they played into the stereotype.
Yeah.
Into it
That's
really
so
quite
lazy.
hard.
So tired of that shit.
So it was really annoying. And not only that, but like you could tell this guy doesn't have like a street ounce in his body. Like Brian,
okay.
This guy, no, Brian, you could scare people. This guy, like, he's scary because he might be tall and handsome, but like, you know, we do this and he's moving. Like, it's not. Really. Okay.
So wait, hold on. What were you looking for in terms of?
I know.
Like, what were you expecting out of this show? Where was the entertainment you were looking for?
Okay. I'm not saying we got to perpetuate stereotypes, but in a way, if you're gonna get a black dude to be the first Bachelor, make him actually black, please.
Whoa! No!
I'm not playing that.
Listen, I was eating off.
Tobi puts his camera back on to address.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to hear this.
The show is it's not real in the first place. Meaning,
Okay, I'll say this. I'll give 1 point. If you're gonna try and play the stereotype and have the kid who didn't grow up with his dad, but then you're gonna turn around and have a guy that like don't play the stereotype and then also give us this. I mean, I guess if they're trying to,
fucking doof.
but are they trying to play against type that like a black guy who didn't grow up with his dad can still turn out like Steve Urkel? Like, what's the angle that it feels like they're
playing the Stefan Urkel, but it's also just not like. You could do Stefan Urkel and still be like, who's the dude from Grey's Anatomy who's like super hood? Not hood,
Jesse Williams?
Yeah, Jesse Williams. That's
okay. This sounds more like a relatability issue here than anything.
Let's bring out something super important. If you guys are watching these shows, understand that all of these shows are scripted.
Yeah.
There's no reality TV show out there that is not scripted in some way, whether it be scripted at the editing point, whether it be scripted before and they tell people how to act. I know someone who in my life personally who did a reality TV show and was told from jump, you are not the one who gets the guy at the end. He goes to the blonde girl. Yeah. From day one, they told her, you're not the one who's going to get the guy. Even though she just showed up and she's just like, okay, I don't really, what does that mean? So just so you understand the things they do. So with that in mind, if they're trying to mold everything in the show, to Skinny's point,
I can proceed with saying this is my first time watching this. This shit is nuts. Okay. They blatantly pick a girl who's like super wild, dim and appropriate to everyone. Her name's Victoria. Super bitchy. But you guys like, I see something in you. No, you don't.
No, they just told him pick her, but you'll eliminate her in 2 rounds.
In 2 rounds, the girl goes to like episode 4. Anyways, it's nuts. The blatant shit. And I was never really cool. Excuse me, I'm old-fashioned, or maybe not even old-fashioned, or maybe I'm just a pussy out here. I was never really down with like dating one person, but then also dating another person. So you're doing it in 900, like in front of like, first of all, you're doing it in front of the other people, and this guy's like, the one difference I'll see is in the Bachelorette, you won't see her just like throwing off affection to every one of the guys.
Yeah, you do.
You do?
Yeah.
At least in this one. In this one, maybe.
She's made in the last one that just came out. She was making out with every single one of them.
This guy sucking face with everybody. Sometime 2 girls.
Yeah, that's what this.
shitty. And it's like, bro, first of all, they've also acknowledged COVID. So I'm just like extra icky. And I'm just like, come on, man.
They've all been tested.
I would assume that they're isolated so that they can do the stuff regardless of COVID. I would assume that they do at least that much.
For sure.
True. Yeah, they are isolated. That's true.
But to me, I'm kind of like, nah.
It's being filmed in the States. I mean, they're doing whatever the hell they want anyways.
But also, I'm still with Skinny. If there's a pandemic out there, and I know you guys make fun of me for saying it, but I'm still not gonna act the same way I would as if it was before. I'm not just gonna start sucking face with everybody and their cousin. Like, don't y'all are crazy. I don't care how much you got tested.
He's like on every pass. If he meets you, you're getting kissed. It's not like bro.
Like a game show host from the 60s. Like,
if he meets you, you're getting kissed.
He's the host of
No, wasn't it? No, it was the host of Family Feud back then.
Feud, yeah.
He was the host
I forget
of
it. Yeah, I forget his name, but in like the 60s or something, he would just would kiss every friggin' woman.
Every single girl. And like, of course, like he'd be like, when they would resist, he'd be like,
nope, come here.
I remember because I used to watch Family Feud a lot as a kid. And they had like my version of Family Feud, and then they switched to like the older
one. Yeah,
what's going on? And then like he's doing this, I'm like, I don't think this is right.
Oh man, yeah. So this show is terrible, and I mean, some of the.
So how many thumbs down, Skinny?
Someone said, dude keeps his eyes open when he kisses.
Yes, he does, and it's weird, and it's super weird. Oh man,
hey.
And he like. And it's not even like real kissing too. So you really just see him you just see he's like a horny guy and he's like, I see something special in you. You're like, no, you just want to pet kiss this girl.
That is hilarious.
It is bad.
But the funny thing is, like, this is every single one of the Bachelor or Bachelorettes, bro. That same exact thing.
And they've made money a quarter century. Proud.
My worst fear, and I know it's gonna happen. At some point, they're gonna make this nigga rap.
No.
I bet you're right.
No.
Can you watch the show?
No.
Let's do a freestyle event. I bet you. This shit is terrible. Don't do it.
That's
a karaoke for the girls, and they're gonna call him up for a song where that happens.
Oh, it's always Baby Got Back.
No,
it's 100% Baby Got Back. If there's karaoke, that's gonna be the song that I will put money on. That's the easiest song. You never noticed that karaoke.
I don't want them to get the one black guy to come up and say, Baby Got Back.
Oh my god, that's great.
Geek news and rumors.
Yeah.
Ending off the show. We got oh god. Wakanda series coming from Ryan Coogler over at Disney Plus. We could have told you so. I mean, it's been in the works. Everyone expected it. Everyone wanted it. The fact that Coogler is attached to produce and it's from his production company, big moves. I'm really excited for it.
Dope.
Smart moves, safe moves.
Yeah, very, very smart moves. What else we got? Google shutting down in-house Stadia Games development studios.
That's quick, no?
Again, smart moves.
1 year. Yeah, I feel like during the pandemic, I find it a little bit weird because during the pandemic, when everyone is gaming, I would have liked them to have had something to release, but I feel like they didn't have enough time to get anything out, and that's what affected them. So
when they saw PS5 come through, they're like, "No, we're gonna sit down."
Yeah, unfortunately. Jeffrey Wright to voice the Batman in a new podcast series. So DC has
playing.
Gordon, Commissioner Gordon.
I know, kind of weird. No.
Yeah, supposedly this is going to be a more comedic take on Batman and the Batman franchise. I find it a little weird because Jeffrey Wright is not who I would think of as a comedic Batman. If anything, I'd get the guy from Drew Carey, who's been doing the comedic Batman voice for years.
Leave Batman alone.
Double facts. That's
Leave
a whole.
There's Dead Man. There's a question.
There's Creeper. So many other characters.
There's no other heroes.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah. Another DC one. DC heroes fight Nazis in the first Justice Society World War II trailer, which is cool.
That was pipe.
No, fix your animated universe before you decide to go back in time.
No, I like that. I like that it looks kind of like Archer, and then they show the Flash from the last terrible Justice League movie that I ever watched. And
I'm down for Justice Society too. Like they never give Justice Society any shine.
Yeah, Our Man looks hype.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Also, just going back to the Wakanda series from Ryan Coogler, he's actually getting a 5-year deal to also work on passion projects, apparently, according to Jay Grizz here. So, in addition to Wakanda series, he gets to do his own thing.
That's with Disney money.
And then last, the unfortunate story: Dustin Diamond has passed away. He passed away at the age of 44 from cancer. I'll say this because there's a lot of people out there hating on the rest of the cast and crew for not showing. Like Tiffany Amber Thiessen, for example, posted and she said, rest in peace to my castmate. And people are just like, you couldn't even call him your friend. I just want to remind you guys at the end of the day, not every actor is friends with every actor. Not everybody that works on the show respects or loves one another. Just because you saw them act like best friends on a TV show, that is called acting. There's a reason they're good at it. There's a reason they continue to have careers, and they don't owe anybody a bigger explanation than that. They can be at peace with their relationship with him as he passes and still condolences to him and his family. True. So all y'all who are mad about them not saying my best friend died, he wasn't their best friend. They didn't have that kind of relationship. That just is what it is. And they also did not shit on him. They didn't disrespect him. They didn't go out there and start throwing dirt on his name. They paid respects to him because they worked with him. They were friends with him. And that's, I think, a pretty fair way to handle that situation. So
yeah. And he had tumultuous kind of last few years. So I'm sure he might have been estranged from people during that time period. But this cancer took him fast, like a month or so.
Yeah, that was really sad. Like they announced he was in the hospital, they announced he was sick, and then they announced he passed. And I was like, holy shit.
I think he was dealing with it beforehand though.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't very public when he was dealing with it, is the thing, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, but let's be honest though, like, is he really in the limelight?
I mean, again, if you have cancer and you're a celebrity, even if you're a D-lister, they're still going to talk about it. Case in point, as soon as he went into the hospital, it became big news that he was dying of cancer. So, rest in peace to him. And to the family. I'm sure there are people that definitely cared about him, and it's sad that they lost someone, and that's just what it is. We'll be back next week. We got another show. We do the show weekly. We know you guys love tuning in. We appreciate all the comments. It was great seeing all the comments on this episode. Once again, shout outs to Nikki and Clarence from Breakdown to Lowdown. You guys can check them out. All their stuff. They are officially a part of the Free Agents Media. So that is our collective. That is our media empire that we are building. And you guys can definitely check them out on all, once again, just follow us on social media at Free X Agents Media. Everywhere, just look us up, follow us, subscribe on YouTube. The little subscription button is on the screen right now if you guys are watching, and you can just click it if you haven't subscribed yet.
That's Make sure you hit that notification bell as well.
Hit it. Hit that bell. We're out, kids. Peace, everybody.
People power.